The Memento. Chapter 1. The Relic. I stepped out of the car and gazed up at our new home, a sprawling Victorian house with intricately carved stone facades and towering oak trees that lined the overgrown lawn. Jenna and I exchanged nervous glances as we grabbed our suitcases from the trunk. We've been warned about this place. Whispers of unexplained noises, ghostly apparitions, and strange lights flickering in the night. But we were young, foolish, and desperate for cheap rent. The house had been vacant for years, so when our landlord offered us a below-market price to take it over, we couldn't resist. The door creaked as we pushed it open, releasing a musty breath that had been trapped inside for decades. Shelves were bare, walls painted a dingy off-white. The place needed work, but its charm was undeniable. We signed a lease and moved in, our laughter echoing through empty rooms. Our first few weeks passed without incident, just us settling in, unpacking boxes, and adjusting to life on campus. Nights blurred together as we studied, drank cheap beer, or binged out watched Netflix. Then came that night. I was dozing off when a thud shook me awake. Throwing off my sheets, I crept into the hallway, listening intently, expecting Jenna's snores from her room across the hall. Silence. Cautiously, I approached our bedroom door. It hung slightly ajar. Inside, Jenna lay fast asleep. My fingers brushed the old key lodged in the floorboard. Curiosity piqued. I pulled it out and turned it over, feeling its weight. Intrigue got the better of me as dawn broke outside. In broad daylight, Jenna was still sleeping, so I ventured into our cramped attic space for answers. Cobwebs clung to trunks, moth-eaten coats hung on hooks. The dusty air filled my lungs with each breath. At the back, beneath a layer of disarrayed boxes, I found an old keyhole matching mine perfectly. After some tugging and straining, a small room swung open. Shadows danced across aged photographs, glass vases with dead flowers, a child's porcelain doll staring at me with milky eyes. A time capsule from another era. In the corner sat a wooden box adorned with intricate carvings, adorned with an antique lock that matched the key I'd found downstairs. Inside, a journal belonged to Adeline Fanning, dated 1905.1910. As I read, my blood chilled. Dear Diary, these walls hold secrets, heavy as the wood they're carved into. My love for Silas grew beyond control. His family disapproved. Mine forbade it. One fateful night, under a full moon, he was taken from me. No grave marks his fate. Fanning's scribbled words were laced with desperation and despair. I closed the journal, Adeline's story haunting me. In the morning, Jenna raved about her own strange dreams, whispers at night. Get over it. I brushed them off as college stress. Little did we know, our lives intertwined with those of the past. Days blurred into weeks. Then one evening, the room door creaked open by itself. We huddled together, exchanging stories of late night noises and unexplained shadows. The key became a symbol, linking us to Adeline's tragic tale. Sarah Pride opened her journal for notes. I turned back to those eerie photographs, the doll's gaze following me to bed. My dreams changed. Adeline's pleas for Silas, our voices echoing from the walls. Please find him. Please bring us together. A connection formed in my mind between Adeline's era and ours. But what did it mean? Chapter 2. The Whispering Walls. Sarah had dismissed her nocturnal whispers. I couldn't ignore them anymore. They grew louder. Words like find it and be quick. Jenna insisted it was our imagination, the stress of finals. One late evening, she awoke to find an old diary on her nightstand. "It's not mine," she said, passing me the leather-bound tome. Yellowed pages revealed Adeline and Silas' forbidden love, her pregnancy, the murder. The final entry. "Silas, my dearest, I'll never see you again. If they kill you, bury a piece of yourself where we were born." Jenna's eyes brimmed as I finished reading aloud. It seemed surreal, but our roommate's dreams mirrored Adeline's. That night, whispers returned, louder than ever, urging us to uncover the truth. Sarah agreed it was time for answers. We pored over research at a local library until dusk. Our findings were chilling. Adeline Fanning had died under unknown circumstances in 1910. The house remained unoccupied after her death. It felt as though we'd unearthed a tomb. Rushing back home, the sun dipped behind the trees, casting long shadows through the windows. Strange objects scattered our living room. Antique jewelry, old photographs, and a porcelain doll. "Sarah," I whispered, heart racing. Her eyes met mine as she entered with a book bag. In it lay an amethyst pendant, Adeline's treasure from Silas. Jenna found me on my knees by the fireplace, diary open to a sketch of this pendant. Our reflections marred the glassy surface. Unspoken thoughts hung between us. Had we disturbed something restless? Each night brought new, disturbing additions. Antique locket and a golden locket containing a black and white photograph of Silas, his eyes haunting. We were meddling with forces beyond understanding. I awoke to an incessant tapping on my door. Jenna's room silent as the grave. With trembling hands, I opened it. The attic door stood wide open. Shadows crept down the creaky stairs, beckoning me upward. As I ascended, icy air enveloped me. The old room swayed and tilted like a ship at sea. A keyhole adorned one wall, matching our mysterious keys. Jenna stumbled in behind, eyes wide. I felt it too, compelled. Inside lay the heartbreak of Adeline's story. In her final entry, "Buried with us. I beg of you both, find him." Chapter 3. The Haunting Resolution. We contacted a paranormal research team for help. They confirmed our house was a nexus, restless spirits entrapped between worlds. Eager to set them free, we decided on a seance. Our small group gathered at dusk, armed with candles and hope. A local medium led the ritual as I held Adeline's locket and Jenna's Silas. Whispers grew louder, then fell silent during our chanting. The medium stopped, face pale. "Do you feel that?" She pointed to the wall. Shadows condensed into a black portal. As one, we peered into the abyss and stepped forward. In the room below, shadows coalesced into figures. Adeline and Silas, forever entwined in sorrow. They spoke through us. Their love, longing, and tragedy. I offered the locket. The portal closed behind them. Breathless, Jenna clutched her roommate's hand as we watched our world settle back to normal. We never expected this journey. The next morning, I found a note pinned to my door. "Thank you for setting us free." Below it lay Adeline's amethyst pendant. With the keys still clutched tight, I entered that small room once more. A hidden compartment contained Silas' locket and an old photograph of them together. Love never fading. They needed closure. But something else appeared, too. A newspaper clipping. Tragedy strikes Fanning residence. A modern story unfolded. Our house's most recent occupant, Daniel, had died alone that night. In his room, The golden locket rested near Adeline's portrait, Silas' eyes watching us. We'd connected lovers across time, but couldn't let history repeat itself. We called the police. Upon their arrival, an unmarked envelope awaited them. A pendant and journal. They left it on my floor. Daniel was gone, his story rewritten as ours had been. A strange peace settled over us. Our whispers faded into silence. I felt Adeline watching as we packed to part ways for summer break. She could rest now. We vowed to share the tale and let love be their legacy. In an antique shop, a locket arrived. Black on one side, amber on the other. A kind storekeeper revealed it came from Adeline's house, purchased by Silas Great, the granddaughter, in 57. Daniel had passed holding it. It was then that we noticed. The portrait hung with two pendants around her neck, an amethyst and a golden heart. Closure wrapped us tight before parting ways for summer break.